Oh, hey, what's up, YouTubers? So I'm just gonna make a quick video. I was asked, I was asked a question, and I was asked how well do I pass on the beach or at the pool without my shirt around strangers. So, and they made a point that no one really talks about that. So I'm gonna talk about it. Um, I've gone to the beach. I'm 3 months post-op, obviously, uh, and I've gone to the beach a handful of times. I've gone to the pool a handful of times. No one's ever questioned me about my scars. No one's said anything. No one's looked at me different. Uh, I pass 100%, I would say. I'm talked to as male. I'm perceived as male. Obviously, I have my shirt off. I don't think the average person really thinks about that. I mean, people have scars for all different reasons. People have scars all over their body, and I think that most people, most people just don't question it. You know, they might think about it, but I personally feel unless you have knowledge on trans in general and what we go through, you're not really going to put two and two together and be like, oh, that's the reason that person has scars there. However, I was asked, actually, nobody had said anything about my scars at all, until Friday was the first time I was asked. So, and I was kind of like, that was cool. And then I was just sitting by the pool on Friday, and this guy, who I've hung out with a handful of times, he's a friend of my friend's, he just turned to me and he's like, everybody was pretty drunk, and he was like, what did he say? He said, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but do you mind if I ask you how you got your scars? So I've thought about how I was going to answer this question numerous times, but because no one had asked, I kind of, thought, okay, well, I lucked out. No one's gonna ask about it. I'll be all right. So I told him it was a car accident, and I thought that he would just leave it at that, but he didn't. He went into no details. So I told him that I didn't really remember much, that it had happened several years ago, that I had woken up, from surgery. I had gotten out of surgery by the time I woke up, that I'd been completely out the whole entire time, and that, from my understanding, I went into the steering wheel and it messed up my ribs. They were out of place or something, and they had to go in and correct it. But I just told him that I didn't really remember, and that was just my understanding, and he left it at that. I don't think that affected anything. I don't think he looks at me any different. I don't think he thought that I was lying or anything. So he was like, okay. He's like, I was just wondering. So, yeah. So that's just a quick video on what it's like passing. I don't really worry too much about it. I've never really worried too much about anything. Even pre-T, I'd go into the men's room, and without well, with my STP, but I was pre-T, and I would just take a piss at a urinal, provided there was walls. I don't like it if there's no walls, because obviously, if a guy were to look down, he would not see what he thinks he's gonna see. So, but I've just kind of been a carefree guy and just lived my life and not really thought about the consequences of anything or what other people are gonna think about anything. So, yeah. So that's my video, but like I said, no one's ever said anything. I think I passed 100% because my nipples still don't even really look like nipples. Like if you were to go up close onto my nipples, you'd probably be like, wow, what's up with this dude's nipples? But no one really does that. People don't really. People see what they see with the naked eye, and they kind of just leave it at that. And I feel that most people just don't question stuff, and most people aren't going to know. Honestly, they're not going to know what our scars are from unless they have knowledge on trans in the first place, to that to that extent even, because I just don't think people think like that. So even when I first started coming out to people, I was just when I first started transitioning, I would just correct everybody. If I was mislabeled, I'd be like, hey, I'm a guy. And then if they, in the beginning, they would question that because I did not look, I did not look or sound masculine. And if I felt that I had to, if I felt that they just weren't getting it, I would explain in the beginning, like, I'm transitioning. I was born female, but I do live my life as male. But I just corrected people. And I would encourage people to do that. I know to each its own, but if you're coming out, most people are pretty cool. You just say, "Hey, I'm a guy," and they're like, "Okay," and that's it. Some people aren't, but in life you're gonna have people who are cool with some stuff and people who aren't, and people who are more open-minded than others, and that's just part of life. So, that's just how I lived mine and do live mine. So, but yeah. Sorry, my computer's doing weird stuff, but I'm gonna end this video here. So I hope that answered your question. That was by Maku. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce YouTube names ever. But MAIKU 2010. So that was his question, and I hope I answered it. So, alright, I will catch you guys on the flip side.